welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I hope you stay for a while. I have been MIA for a few weeks / a month because I've been in the process of moving from Charlotte, North Carolina to New York, and this has been one of the hardest moves I've had to prepare for, both physically with everything going on and logistic-wise, but also mentally. So I wanted to take some time and sit down and talk about the true cost of living that nobody was able to prepare me for. For those of you that don't know me, hi, I'm Brownie. I call myself your professional older sister. I make the mistakes and learn the hard way so that hopefully you don't have to. This video, I'm going to talk about a lot of the emotional side of moving because it's not really something people talk about. People talk about the budgeting, people talk about the logistics of it, people talk about the prep, but this move has really hit emotionally way more than any other move has. And trust me, I've done a lot of moves. I've moved away for college. I've moved across the world to Italy to study abroad for a semester. I've moved with friends. I've moved with terrible roommates. I have seen a thing or two. So I'm going to talk about three main topics, and that's going to be the comfort aspect, leaving people behind, and also why it's not so easy to move this time around, so that you can get a better feel of maybe you didn't think about the emotional side because you're so locked up on the move. So when it starts with like the comfort side of things, it's hard to like leave what you know / what works. Because to be honest, I was here in Charlotte, North Carolina, living at home with my parents, making almost $90,000 a year. And I quit all of that and I'm leaving that behind to move to New York to live with my friends and share in a house with 3 other girls. A little crazy? Maybe, but it's worth it to me. However, I can't say that my life was not comfortable. Was I happy? Maybe not, but it was comfortable and it worked, quote unquote. And I'm upending, like you're upending your routine. Everything that I've known is now going to change very abruptly and very quickly. I move on Monday. Today is Friday. Yikes. No, I move on Monday. Today is Thursday. I have been procrastinating this move so bad. And you're starting over at the end of the day. When it comes down to it, when you move away from your parents' house for either the first time or a very far away move or like permanently, you have to start over all over again. And it's not fun to start over. I mean, sometimes you can find it fun, but it's not easy. It's not like the easiest thing you'll ever do. Oh yeah, start over a new routine, find a new doctor, find a new coffee shop, find new friends. That is also a very hard part of like finding a community all over again. Like, yes, I'm moving with friends, but I'm not expecting them to be my end all be all and I'm going to be up on them 24/7. You know what I mean? Like, of course I'm going to be spending a lot of time with them. Hopefully not 24/7 though, because you just can't be with someone 24/7. It took me 2.5 years to start getting my footing in Charlotte. And this past month has been the most fun that I've had and has been the most connected to Charlotte that I've felt. But in the same breath, this past month I haven't been working a job 9 to 5. That drains me. I can see how happy I am on my face and it's bittersweet to leave because now I'm like, oh, I really will miss it. Then when it comes to leaving people behind, I know a lot of you that are on my page can probably relate to this because a lot of you are like me that want to move out of your parents' house because it's frustrating, it's not a great environment for you. However, when it comes to that, I'm leaving behind my family and my sisters, and especially when it comes to my sisters, I have a very big age gap with my sisters. I am 24. I just turned 24 this past July. The next sister up is 17 going on 18. She's a senior in high school. And then the twins are 15 going on 16. They're sophomores in high school. So when it comes down to it, I grew up sharing a room with all of them all throughout middle school and high school, and like the most formative years for me, where I just wanted privacy and space of my own. So I didn't have a very sisterly bond. It was just a bunch of 6-year-olds roaming around and I was like, please get out of my face. It was very overstimulating for me. I will admit I did not have a very sisterly bond with them. It just felt like annoying kids that were always around. However, now that I've moved to Charlotte in these past 2 years, and especially this past year and like from March to now, my bond with them is the most sisterly it's ever been. And I'll miss it. It does not feel good to leave. This is the first time ever that I've moved out of my parents' house. Not because I was sick and tired of living here or because a big blowout fight or whatever, but because I just know there's more growth for me out there. But that also leaves a very bittersweet feeling of, oh shoot, I'm going to feel homesick. I'm going to miss them. Because I'll be completely honest, I'll be the first to say it. All my previous moves, I was not worried about my family. I was not worried about missing them. I was just like, I need to get away from you people ASAP. Did I miss them eventually? Sure. but it was not at the forefront at all. And it is this time around. So if you're living at home right now, I would say enjoy the time. Is it hard to enjoy it? Are they very frustrating people? Do sometimes I get into fights with them and I'm like, thank God I'm leaving? Yes, absolutely. But if you have it in your mind that you're going to leave, you're obviously going to leave eventually. Whether you're miserable while you're there and you don't appreciate the time you have, or you're not miserable while you're there, the end result is the same. So sometimes, but I get it if you don't have the best relationship. And then also when it comes to leaving people behind, I've made some really cool friends and new connections this past few months. And I know that if I was here to nurture them, they would turn into very great, friendships and even long lasting ones. But I won't be here. And it's much harder to nurture a relationship that's long distance, especially with a new friendship. So will I be visiting Charlotte and will I be seeing these people occasionally when I visit? Sure, but it's not going to be the same as if I stayed. And I know that. And it is sad. It's not ideal. Like if I could choose, I would have my cake and eat it too, but you can't. My last point is, and everybody tells you this, obviously it's not easy, but they tell you more about like the logistics and the budget side of things and figuring it out. But when it comes to the emotional, like you might feel sad and like you made a mistake. I've been sad these past 2 weeks to the point of like, I'm a very big procrastinator, but I know like in the back of my head that I've been procrastinating this move and packing. Like nothing is packed basically because I feel sad. I do. I feel sad that I'm moving, even though I'm super excited. And every time I think about New York and when I'll finally get there and seeing my friends and living there and the life I'll lead there, super happy and super excited. But at the same time, I am sad that I'm leaving this life behind for that. There's a balance to it. I really like this quote that's like, in order to get to your new life, you'll have to give up your old life. And I'm giving up a lot of my old life, a lot of old habits, a lot of old comforts in order to have this new life. That doesn't mean I won't miss the old life though. And then maybe you might even regret it. Like that does come with the territory, making a big move, leaving people behind, leaving your family behind in order for some growth or whatever it is that you want. You might end up regretting it, and I know that. Do I think I will? I don't. However, the reality is I might. That's always on the table, but I'm okay with taking the risk of maybe regretting it because the regret that I would have of not taking the action and never doing it and the what ifs would eat me alive versus the regret of I tried something, it didn't work out, I can always come back home, And then another quote that I really like is, wherever you go, there you are. And I'm going to leave you with that quote on this last topic because genuinely, if you think that leaving your parents' house is going to fix all of your problems and you'll no longer be depressed and you'll make the most money you ever have in your life and this and that, maybe. However, if you are someone that stays in your room 24/7, does not talk to people, does not go out, does not have hobbies, does not do what you think you're going to do once you move out, like nothing at all. Because I get being depressed and being at home. Trust me, Wellbutrin, lifesaver. However, if you're not doing any of those things that you think you will be doing once you move out, the harsh reality is you probably won't do them once you move out either, because wherever you go, there you are. I was one of the most depressed times in my life when I went to Italy, because I was depressed before I moved to Italy, and now I'm in a new country that I thought was going to fix everything. But not only am I depressed, I'm isolated from everyone, and I just uprooted my life. There's nobody here. I have no friends. I have no family. I don't even speak the language. I was the same depressed girl, but now without a support system. So I would say be very cautious of thinking that everything is going to be solved magically. You have to put in the work. So is this to dissuade you from moving? Absolutely not. But in the back of your head, if you are planning on moving soon or you think it's going to happen within the next year or a few months, I would say start putting in your reps of like doing what you think you're going to be doing when you're outside of the house, and the transition will be way smoother. Now, with all that said, is it difficult? Yes. Do I get sad about it? Absolutely. Is it a very bittersweet feeling? 100%. Am I leaving a lot of comfort behind? Yeah. And I still think it's 100% worth it to take that risk, to go out on your own, to move out if that's truly what you want, to experience that. Because there's so much growth out there for you, and I know I'll experience that, and I'll be documenting it all and updating you guys along the way. Because truly, I saw someone say this once, and I really have taken it to heart, is to have a bias towards action when you have a life decision in front of you, right? For example, my decision was, do I stay in Charlotte working a job I'm very unhappy at, living in a situation I'm not the happiest in a city I don't like, but it's comfortable, or do I upend my life, quit that job, move to New York, focus on my business, yada yada. Bias towards action points me to New York, and that excites me way more. Because if I had stayed in Charlotte, it would literally be an inaction. I would not change anything about my life if I stayed in Charlotte. I would just be here doing what I'm doing, unhappy. So when it comes to decisions that I make, I try to have a bias towards action, and that has helped a lot with mitigating regret. Will there always be regrets in life? Yes, we're human. But I would love it if I could have as little regrets as possible. And I would 100% rather have the regret of trying something and it didn't work out, because this has happened to me before. I've quit a job before and tried out my business and content creation and it didn't work out. Do I regret that it didn't work out? Yes, absolutely. But I know that if I had stayed at that job as burnt out as I was, it would eat me alive to think of the what ifs, you know? And as long as you're alive, you're still in the running. We'll leave you with that. Wherever you go, there you are. Always have a bias towards actions. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. I will be more consistent here on YouTube after the move, now that I'll have plenty of time of when, because I quit my job, and I'll talk about that too in the next video. And truly, truly, if you are planning on doing a big move or a big life change, I'm so proud of you, because it's hard. It's mentally draining. It's not something that people prepare you for. Nobody's sitting you down and being like, oh, this is like how you exactly do it, because they can't. You have to experience it yourself. But if I'm able to learn these lessons and at least impart something on you, and you got something out of it, and maybe you're a little bit more prepared for the emotional impact or the financial impacts of the move, then I've done what I can do. As always, let me know if you have any questions down below. Make sure to subscribe and like so that you can stay along for the journey, and I can impart more tips and tricks from all the lessons that I'm learning the hard way throughout life. And I'll see you next time. Bye.